What's up guys, Alex here. I'm happy to say that I'm back. It was a long break, but I'm promising right now that we are gonna be filling up this channel quite frequently. We now at beautiful Encore with this amazing view to Las Vegas and Strip, and we're gonna be playing our first cash game session right downstairs. It's gonna be a lot of action, and this is actually how my cash trip around the states starts. So this is the beginning. It's gonna be a lot of action. Please enjoy. So we bought in for 2K and we starting our game on the must move table. It means like all the players in the certain order of from must move game go into the main table, and this way the main game is surviving, is not breaking, which is a great idea. So we started on the must move game, and sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's even better than main game, and like this time we call pocket sixes on the small blind and we hit a set right away. I think in this case we don't really want to check because we don't want to check through, and it's going to be quite often, so we just decided to lead right away. I lead 1/3 and the most action opponent on the button, which name is Carlos, called. It's always great when I got call on this board because it means I'm always ahead. Turn brings Jack, which opens second flush draw, and we definitely want to bet again. We always ahead, and we want to get some value. So I'm betting around 300, which is around 80% of the pot. Carlos snap call, which is also always great again. River is not the best card, is 4 of hearts, which brings the flush, and this is obviously not a great card, but I still decided to bet small, getting some value from 2 pairs and stuff, but I got fold really fast. This is my first pot. Next hand is showing how soft the game is, so a few opponents limp, middle position, and of course Carlos. I'm on the button, 9-10 suited. I raise 200, 2 calls, and I see the board, which is absolutely not great for my hand, but I decided to bet small, like $70 into pot 300, and got snap fold. So we continue our battle with Carlos. He limps from the big blind. We check straddle king 6 off, can raise sometimes, but now we check. Board ace queen 4 with 2 spades. We have a king of spades. I think it's a good opportunity to bet. He call. Turn king. I think we can bet, we can check. This time I decided to check. And river is the ace of spades, which is great card for us. Now we can definitely value bet our hand. I bet around 80% E, and got called from queen. Great result. Actually, Carlos somehow liked me and was always showing the hands. It was fun. So my performance on the must move game finished, and they put me on the main game. I opened a7 suited from middle position and got called from the button. The guy seemed regularly player. Flop came ace jack 6 rainbow. I decided to start with the check. He checked back, which is great. Turn is 4 of spades. Now it's time to bet. I think I bet around pot. He called, and river came 8, which is not bad card. I decided to bet big again and got raised pretty fast. Situation actually is quite close. We can call sometimes here and we can fold sometimes here. At game I decided to fold, but now knowing this guy a little bit better, I would rather call. But I think it's really close. Well played, sir. What do you guys think about this hand? Let me know in the comments. Right after that, in a few hands, I have pocket jacks, which is always great. And the guy with a huge stack is on the straddle. He's basically winning every hand. I raised to 60, he called, and the flop came 8-9-3 with a flush draw, which is quite dynamic, I would say. I bet half pot and got raised to 270. It's already quite tricky, the situation, but we still call. There are plenty of draws. But the turn brings 5 and another flush draw, and he bets big. It's getting gross already. The guy could have all the combos of 6-7 and 8-9 off, which is a lot. I'm blocking the majority of his bluffs with two jacks. It's like Jack 10 and Queen Jack. And Jack of Diamonds, it's also not a good holding because it blocks a lot of flush draws which he could potentially have, so I decided to fold right away. It could be nitty, but I like it. So I decided to take a small break and went to the backyard. It's the place when the beach club is located, and now they're preparing for the big party. As you see behind me, people are getting ready for this event. I've been once there, I suppose, several years ago, but as I know, it's one of the best parties in town, and people are getting wild there, as you see. It's always a lot of fun. But I'm just going to get some food and get back to the game. Okay, I'm back in the game. This time it was 2 main tables actually, and at the moment I came back to my table, I saw that there is a seat available on another table, and after this raises on the river and check raises on the flop, I decided that it's better just to go to another table, which looks a little bit better. My first hand, which looks pretty, 5-6 suited, I open under the gun, got call on the cutoff, and Button, who seems like very fun player. Flop came ace, queen, deuce. I have basically nothing, but I have a backdoor flush draw, which is great, but I still decided to check and let it go. Don't put any money into the pot, but they both checked, and the turn brought me a king of clubs, which is great card for my range. I bet very big and got called from the button, and the river came an ace, and I decided to bet big again, representing ace or king. He potentially let him fold the queen, but he's not folded, so it means that he also was on the draw, which is great result for my 6 high.
Thank you very much.
Next hand, ace queen off. I raised under the gun and got called from the same guys. The flop came 7-3 deuce. I have basically nothing, not even backdoor flush draw. I decided to check. The cutoff bet really small, and I cannot get away from this hand now. I check call, turn king, we check, river 10. I checked again. My hand is too strong to bluff, and my opponent checked back. I showed my ace queen and won. What a great table. One of the regulars player open under the gun, and I decided to peel with the king jack off on the hijack, which I don't really like, but on the big blind was a huge fun player, so it kind of tempting to play pots against him in position. So I called, he called as well. The flop came queen 10 6. I have a perfect nuts out to the straight, and the raiser bets 2/3 in this pot, which represents a strong hand. I call, the big blind called as well. The turn is queen, and here is the interesting decision: should I start bluffing or not? I decided to check it back because I don't have a heart in my hand. With a heart I probably bet turn and shove the heart reverse, but this hand I decided just to check it back and catch my outs on the river, kind of disguise the power of my hand. But the river came absolutely blank, and the razor bets huge, and in this moment you really want to have a queen in your check back and range, but you just have a king high, so you can not do anything, just fold. The big blind folded as well. The table looks great, so I decided to open a little bit loose with the jack 10 off under the gun. The super fun player on the small blind called, and the flop came perfect 10-3-4 rainbow, and I already seen how this guy check calling the flop with the two random undercards to pair. So I bet not really big to let him float me with basically all range. I bet 40, he called pretty fast. Turn brings the 9, which is great card because, as I told, this guy could check call the flop with any backdoors, basically. So this 9 is better for him. So he called. River brings an ace, which is okay. He checked. After a little bit of thinking, I checked back. Maybe I could bet again, actually, but I decided to check back, and he showed 9-5, and my read was absolutely right. Guys, and of course, if you like this video, please smash this like button, subscribe to the channel. It's really important. I'm gonna be honest, it's really hard for me to do it in two languages. My English is not as good as I want it to be, and you know, it takes time, but I'm learning. I'm doing that for you guys. Please, if you like, support, subscribe, leave a comment. Appreciate. Much love and enjoy. Middle position raised, hijack call, button call. I found the king queen off on the small blind. Actually, it's a good situation to squeeze, but in the game I decided to just call. The flop came 8-8-6. I don't have anything. I was going to check and give up, but turn brings a queen. Good card for me, good card for my range. I decided to bet 3/4, and our opponent from the last hands raised me to 200. It's easiest fold for me. He always has an 8, and he showed me an 8, which is also great. Next hand, I have ace jack off on the button. I decided to free bet this time using my randomizer against the active player, which is completely fine. He called, and 7-4 deuce all clubs came on the flop, which is incredible for me. I decided to bet small, and he check raised, which is always great because he could have a lot of weaker hands. I could still be ahead, and of course I have this nuts out on with my ace of clubs, so I'm happily call. Turn brings me a flush, and this point he checked, which I don't really like to see, and I don't have any other option like a bet, so I decided to go for it and bet half of the pot, which I like because we wanna put the money in. He could still have a set, he could still have a weaker flush, or with the king or with the queen, and I wanna charge this hand maximum. So I bet around half pot, but unfortunately he just folded. It means like he didn't have much. I'm on the small blind with the queen 10 off, no straddle this time. A button regular player opens, and on the big blind they just brought a new player, potentially not a professional one, so I decided to peel on my small blind. because not expecting a lot of squeeze and button could be opening a little bit wide. Flop came pretty good, queen jack deuce. He bet really small on this flop. I don't think he would bet like this with any strong hands. Most of them wanna bet bigger, so it's really good for me. I call, and I think that I have a best hand a lot. Turn is a 6, absolutely blank. I checked, he bet bigger this time, around 80%. Still very easy call for me. And the river is a 5. I checked and he overbet. I mean, yeah, it's not really, it doesn't look really good, but according to how was the hand played by him, I don't think any of the strong hands played like this, so I called it pretty fast, and he just showed 9-4, which is complete air, and the big pot is going to Russ. Great. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Much appreciation. See you in the second part, because it's gonna be two-part video. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be out soon, I promise. Hit the like, subscribe, and have a good day. Bye.